Hello, Steve. Hello, Jill. It's time to game classy.
Bonjour.
Buongiorno, Capitan.
How's my mic sound? Does it sound okay?
Yeah,
Okay,
sounds good.
Just wanted to double check on that.
It does not sound like you are in an echo chamber or anything.
I am a robot.
I am a robot. We are robotic. We are talking about robot things. Oh no, you are sticking something that is an output and you are putting it in there.
Step robot, what are you doing?
Step robot, I am stuck in the washing machine.
I'm stuck in the washing machine. Ghost in the Machine.
Ghost in the Machine.
I know you've seen Ghost in the Machine. Why am I even asking if you ever seen Ghost in the Machine?
Yeah, I have, of course.
It's like, of course.
Yeah.
I've seen Ghost in the Machine. Why would I ask you if you've seen Ghost in the Machine?
Yes.
Oh, we got so much to talk about today, Steve.
It's not not very good.
What, Ghost in the Machine?
Ghost in the Machine.
It's like a classic, though.
Yes. It's much like it's kind of like the Lawnmower Man.
But Lawnmower Man is fun. I love Lawnmower Man.
Oh, both of the films are fun. Like that's what I say. Like, I mean, well, we've discussed it at length of time where the movie can be bad and it's still fun to watch.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, like Ghost in the Machine, I always get confused with Wicked City. Like those two always blend together in my minds because they were always shown at around the same time.
Right. Wait, do you mean Ghost in the Shell?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I meant. What did I say? Ghost in the Machine?
Ghost in the Machine.
Ghost in the Machine. Yeah, that's different. That's different.
Okay,
I meant
cool.
Ghost in the Shell.
Got it. Okay, yeah, because
I'm gonna delete all of this and just start it right here.
Because there's also a terrible 1993 film named Ghost in the Machine.
Yes, I think I know that one.
And that's what I thought you were talking about.
No, I was thinking Ghost in the Shell. Yes, I don't know why I was even asking you about Ghost in the Shell. I'm going to delete everything up until this point.
All right, that's fair enough.
Just because it makes me sound like that much more of an idiot than I already am.
They'll never. Well, yeah, it'll be fine. No one will ever know.
That's all right. Maybe I'll leave this in because it'll be funny.
Yeah,
We're not funny.
In the 1993 Ghost in the Machine had it's a haunted computer. It's what it is.
Yes, the haunted computer. I remember it now that we're talking about it.
Yeah, it has what's his name? Chris Mulkey.
That I don't know.
Oh, you would know him. You would know him if you saw him.
Okay.
Chris Mulkey's one of those guys. He's one of those guys who's like, oh yeah, okay. He's in Cloverfield. He's in The Purge. He's in Rain Man. First Blood.
He started it.
He's
blood.
Oh, there was there's a he's
all right. I don't want to talk about this guy anymore.
All right, fair enough. wait, carry on.
You know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about the first commercial color 3D printer for resin.
Oh yes, yeah. This was your big
yeah.
Your big shit. You said you were saying there's philosophical things going on.
There's philosophical issues I have with this, but also I wanted to just talk about it because I think it is important in terms of gaming and what it can do.
All right, I'm ready.
So for those who are unaware, and those who probably don't have Facebook, because this thing's been plastered all over Facebook,
everywhere. Like, and I don't, and I've mentioned before how filtered my Facebook is, and even I've seen it.
Yes. So Hey Gears is releasing the first desktop full color 3D and UV printer. Now this is a little different than what most 3D printers are getting into, but I wanted to talk about it in terms of gaming. And first of all, we got to kind of go over what kind of printer this is, because it's not like the type of printer that you think of. Okay. Because I know you think of 3D printing, you think of the plastic 3D printer, the classic plastic one, and then the resin one, which is what we do for minis, because it's much cleaner with detail than minis, right? So like a plastic printer, and this is very hard to describe verbally as opposed to seeing it, but you start from the bottom up. So you start on the very bottom, the bottom layer, and it builds up like layer after layer after layer. Like a little tiny squeezy tube of toothpaste comes out and builds up the layers till you get your piece of terrain, essentially. Yep. So for gaming, you use that for terrain. You use it for like your little gewgaws that you use to track wounds and shit like that. That's what you use a plastic printer for. Mm. People have been making terrain for plastic printers for years. My personal favorite is Printable Scenery, a company, I believe they're either out of Australia or New Zealand, but I absolutely adore them. Make fantastic terrain. And then you have the resin printer. Now, the resin printer is now kind of a standard for wargaming. I got in on it when Elegoo first released the Mars, and then I was like, oh my god, this is going to change the world, and it did. It was fantastic to use.
Elegoo.
Yeah, no, you love the word Elegoo.
Oh, and if you're dear listener, please do look up printable scenery because they are awesome. Like their stuff is great.
That's what I use for the majority of my gaming table.
Nice.
So Elegoo and then Creality.
I think I have actually remember seeing some of the Goblin Grotto in your D&D game.
Yes, I did use the Goblin Grotto quite a bit in the D&D game.
Nice.
Actually, all of my terrain I think I use in my D&D game is from printable scenery. So
nice.
Really quick. The Resin 3D printer basically works the exact opposite. It works from the top down. So, well, I mean, it's upside down. It's basically the same thing. So you start on the bottom layer and you build up, but it's upside down.
Yeah.
So, and the way that it works is that you got this big pool of resin, and then the build plate pushes down on the resin till it's like microscopically thin, like a 0.03 millimeter layer of resin. And then little tiny lights of UV shoot up and they harden that resin. So like little tiny specks of UV harden that resin, over the course of 5 to 30 seconds. And then it lifts up, separating it from the FEP, which is like a thin layer of plastic. And then it pushes it back down till it barely touches again. And then it repeats that until it goes up. So it works much differently. Now, the reason why I'm kind of going into that is because this Hey Gears, the G1 series printer that they have, pretty much works almost as a combination of both. It's a hybrid, if you will, a hybrid system.
Yeah.
So what they do is they use kind of the same build plate as the plastic one, and they're building up, but they're using colored resin as the coloring factor of it all. And and instead of like supports, like plastic supports or resin supports, they use kind of like a water soluble gel that they build it inside of. It's very, very Star Trek.
Yeah, I saw the goblin that they printed, and I was like, I watched the entire process from start to finish, and I was just like, I said to myself, I'm like, well, this is it. This is the one I wanted. This is push button receive model. This is
the future is here. However, I'll get into my issues with it in a bit. So right off the bat, it's already made $12 million, and they wanted 100,000, but of course that was their low ball. They knew they were going to make enough.
Yeah.
So they want to. I think that they're planning on about 15 mil before September 11th. Never forget. And you're going to have this, on your desktop. So let's talk about some of the positives and the negatives. Positives is you're finally going to get your push button print figure.
Yes.
With like you could get that with the resin. I mean, I basically have been doing it for years with resin. It's also this stuff looks good. Let's put it that way. I'm not totally turned off by it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that there's a lot of negatives off the bat, which I'm not a fan of. One is the price.
Yeah, I think it's $2,000, right?
No, 3,600.
Oh, my bad.
The $2,000 one is basically a color version of a normal 3D
okay,
printer.
So there is a $2,000 model, but that's not the one you want. You want the 3,600. Okay,
yeah. Cool. So like the $2,000 one will only print up to like 5 millimeters thickness with color. It's weird how that works, but you think of it like, think about printing a poster, right?
Oh, I already that was what to say. The biggest thing I saw is they printed a Pokemon card.
Yeah, like you could print a Pokemon card with a little bit of detail on it.
It legit was a Pokemon card. Like the thing that. The craziest thing about it is like he pulled it off of the tray because at first he showed printing it flat and he's like, see, it's like a Pokemon. He's like, see, I printed a Pokemon card, but this isn't really a card, right? It's a little too thin. Let's tune it up a little. And then he literally printed a Pokemon card. He pulled a fucking Pokemon card off the printer and it just looked like a fucking Pokemon card. It had foiling and everything. It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean it's a very the $2,000 is a very, very fancy 2D printer that has some 3D capabilities. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, I was just like, so I was seriously considering like, well, maybe that's what I need to prototype my game. Like, I could have the thing just like print out my fucking cards.
Yeah. You're not going to do that because it's going to be way too cost prohibitive.
You think so? Yeah, I mean, I have no idea, no clue what like other than the cost of the machine. Obviously, I just have no idea what the actual anything else would be.
So let's talk about that. The actual machine itself, the one that you want to get, is going to cost you $3,600.
Yeah.
If you got in the early bird, it would have cost you $3,200 or $3,300. Sorry, saving $300. But you're getting the $3,600. You're going to get the full one that's going to give you everything, including inks. The machine. And like a decent 1-year warranty on the main unit, which is nice.
Yeah.
Here, that's my other part of the problem is that how long do these inks last? What are we looking at in terms of price on these inks? Like, are the inks sold separately? If I run out of blue, am I going to have to buy the whole set, or can I just buy blue? You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any of that stuff. That's the type of material look that I'm wondering about. The other thing is like I really don't see the material that they are using for this 3D printer. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, is it a spool? Is it like resin? Is it a special type of resin? That sort of, they don't show any of that really.
Yeah, I guess
they do show a little bit, but I mean they don't really show too much of it.
I was gonna say, I guess for for me, because it's not gonna be like, I mean, I'm obviously in no rush. But I guess I would say I'll just wait and see what because I'm not gonna save any money by going at it now, right?
Yeah.
So I'll just wait and see after it actually hits the market, and I'll wait for someone else to spend the money and take the risk on trying
and people are already like the 3D printers that I kind of follow on YouTube and other places are already invested in it. It'll be very, very interested to see how it goes.
Yeah, because if it works the way I want, then they'll be great. It works the way I want. I will get one. And of course, all of the factors are considered. What it's printing with, like how long it's going to last. Someone else can answer all those questions for me without me spending $3,600.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like so, yeah. The ink bottles are about $30 each. And looking at it, and the UV resin's kind of about the same, $330. But I don't know if it's got to be proprietary. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, can there be a third party of this, or is it like a proprietary blend that you have to use?
My other big question is how do the colors work?
Oh, yeah, you mean like do they blend?
No. Like, hang on. So I see exactly how the model worked. Like, the goblins they printed looked like a fully layered and highlighted and washed miniature. That's cool. But my question is how do you get that model? Like, how did they get the model with the colors on it like that? That's
well, yeah. They do have proprietary software that you're going to have to color yourself.
Okay. Yeah, because that's my question, because like obviously like the STL is like you it's already done and you push the button and it prints out your STL, but STLs are gray or whatever, they're not colored.
Yeah. So for example, you've seen some of the stuff that I've done recently for Warhammer. I've done on my 3D printer, the colored stuff I've done. I did that Gaze of the Gods table and the outline for the battlefield thing, and that's all multicolor. I did that in my multicolor printer. The bamboo slicer that I use for that has a coloring function, so you can actually go in there and color it.
Okay.
And that's part of the problem is it's not super easy to use.
Got it.
Like, you kind of got to understand that there are limitations to it, especially if you're designing your own stuff, because when you slice and when you cut a model in 3D, it leaves artifacting that is not as clean as you want it to be, which can affect how you color it later.
Okay. I mean, and obviously, I'm I'm not.
You don't know the intricacies. You're not a 3D printer guy.
And I'm also not gullible enough to think that every single miniature I print is going to be like that goblin, or it's just like, yeah, it's fully painted, it's super easy. Like, like I know they're trying to sell me the product, so they're gonna, they're not gonna mention any of the like hard work that they had to do to get that goblin,
Yeah, and that goblin is huge too.
That was, honestly, that was something I did distinctly notice. I was like, that was very, very big. So, that's not, I would say he was closer to like action figure size than he's nowhere near miniature size, but like he looked bigger than even an Inquisitor scale model.
Yeah. So like that's the other thing for like, let's get into gaming. Let's talk into the gaming applications of this. So can you print multiple figures at the same time? I don't see that in their any of their production material, like printing multiple things at the same time.
Right, usually, which is a very important question.
One thing at a time. 2, what's the size that I can get to? What's the level of detail? I'm assuming you can get pretty detailed, but the way that this machine looks like it works is that it works very similar to how a plastic 3D printer works. So if the head can't do that minute level of details, 28 millimeter, 32 millimeter might be out of the question.
Yeah.
They do, like, the stuff does look nice at the 54 millimeter scale, or even bigger, the action figure scale, whatever that technically is. I don't know. You probably know that more than I do.
Yeah, it's I think they call the 3/4 or 3.5s. That's like 3.5s is Star Wars. That's the Kenner Star Wars size.
Yeah.
So if you remember the Kenner Star Wars figures, those are 3.5s.
Yeah. So I mean, like, it looks like that's okay at that level, but
I mean, that's cool, and that's a really awesome product if you want to be printing figures at that size, which is great.
You want to play Inquisitor? That's great for it.
Yeah, exactly. But that's not what I'm looking for.
No, exactly.
Although I do have I actually do have a miniatures game idea that I was thinking about a lot, and I've been like, it's been rolling around my head, and it's not a completely unique idea, but I think my idea is more appealing than the one that did exist at one point. But so do you remember the miniatures game Fairy Meat?
Yeah, we talked about Fairy Meat on this cast numerous times.
Yeah, so
usually it pops up whenever I'm at the auction and I see a big box of Fairy Meat getting sold. Yes. And I'm like, Steve, Fairy Meat.
Yeah. So so one of the concepts that I really liked about Fairy Meat that I thought was great was I was a big fan of the like you play anywhere.
Yeah.
I like that. And I had an idea, like I was thinking like I don't think it exists. It might. I'm not sure, but my idea was basically Redwall with rats and mice and stuff, and they're true scale.
That already exists.
Does it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, and the idea is like you play on like your kitchen table, and like that's but they're actually battling on your kitchen table.
Yeah, there's an RPG version of it called Mouse Guard, which is actually pretty good. It's a very good RPG.
Mm-hmm.
It uses Burning Wheel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The miniature, I know that there's a miniature port for it, and I know that minis already exist through Reaper.
Okay, but there's not. It doesn't sound like there's like a full-fledged miniature skirmish game.
No, well, I mean, there is, but it's not like what you're talking about. I think.
Okay.
It's almost like the Osprey games.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good. Because that means that my so it's not quite it's still available is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Is Brian Jock still alive? I wrote Redwall. Let's see.
I don't know.
Let's look online.
I don't know, actually. I'm not sure.
Brian Jocks. No, he died in 2011. Wow, long time ago.
Damn. Yeah, that's a while ago.
Yeah. I like this. He was born in Liverpool, England, and worked many jobs, including a truck driver. Actually, they would have called it a lorry driver.
That's right.
A docker, a stand-up comic before publishing his first novel in 1986. God, don't you like it? Don't you love it how we just missed that era of like you could have been a truck driver or a boxer or
and then a stand-up comic into an author
into a massively successful author. Now it's like in order to do anything successful in the arts, you have to be like, his parents were cardiac surgeons and he went to Harvard.
His father wrote Grease.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the musical Grease or the actual country Grease?
The movie. I don't think
The
you can
musical.
write. I don't think you can write a country.
Yes.
Musical, yeah, musical.
Well, actually, the guys who wrote Grease are fantastic. I love that story. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but the Grease is based on the high school Taft on the north side of Chicago, technically, because they both went there. The whole original production of Grease is based on Chicago and the north side. And they wrote it, and it was, fairly good. And they took it to Drury Lane, which is it's like a local theater company in Chicago. It's a professional theater company, not like Broadway, but they're a professional theater company. And they were like, could you do this? And then Drury Lane was like, no, we're not going to do it. And then after it became massively successful, Drury Lane was like, can we do this? And they were like, no. And they never wrote another musical again, Steve. And you know why? They made so much money, they never had to work again.
I mean, that is pretty. That is pretty cool.
I mean, they were like, this is the apex of our careers. We will never be as successful in anything we ever do again. We're not even going to try. And I think there's something that's admirable about that.
Yeah, you just go, hey, you know what? That's fair.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Yep, that's fair.
Yeah. So anyway, back to this printer in and of itself. We don't know how useful it is for actual wargaming at this point. So I think it's like, and also it's a Generation 1 machine. So you never want to buy a Generation 1 machine.
Yeah.
Leave that to the people who are like the early adopters who are going to figure out all the bugs and everything like that.
You're right.
The other part that that the philosophical debate I'm having with it is that if you 3D print colored minis, are you even participating in the hobby at this point?
Well, I mean, that depends. Like, what do you like? Are you? I would say yes. So I think so. For me, I would put that firmly under the same like how you. Well, I guess I mean if
you see that like the reason you're struggling with the same type of questions that I'm having.
I have my thought formulated, and it's very easy. I just wanted to explain because this is. So first off, this is personal. This is a subjective situation right here.
Yeah, of course.
But what I would say is, I'd say they would fall under the same category. You would have to put people who don't paint their own armies. So like a guy who buys fully painted armies or pays someone to paint their armies. So do you consider those guys participating in the hobby? Because if you don't consider those guys participating in the hobby, then same deal here. This would not be participating in the hobby.
I do not consider those guys to be participating in the hobby. I do consider them to be like wargaming, like if they play with those figures, but they don't participate in the hobby.
Yeah, I think that's a big like an important distinction to make. Like, because there's the wargaming aspect and then there's the hobbying aspect. So like they're not a hobbyist, they're a wargamer.
Now, however, if you take the STL and you paint it yourself in the software and print it out, would that be considered participating in the hobby?
I mean, I'd say so, because I think that would fall into the same category as you're if you print a model you didn't sculpt yourself, right? Like, yeah. So I'd say so. If you paint it yourself, if you do all the work, you're
painting it in 3D.
But you're still doing the work, right? You're still
because if you
that
paint
falls under digital art, like that because I mean, I think digital artists are real artists,
But if you paint here's what it gets to. It's like you're painting a night goblin.
Mm-hmm.
You paint that one night goblin in 3D in the 3D software, and then you print out 100 copies of it. It's like you're not really doing the work. You're not putting in the effort into it. You're doing a little bit of the work, and then it's printing out.
So like I mean, I can tell you what I would do personally. So like I would not want to print. I would see. For me, I think I would be okay with like the grunts. I would be okay with painting a grunt one time, but I would also so this is my brain. This is how I would operate. I would be very into doing a very specific interaction with this type of project. So the old shitty 5th edition single monopose models? Yeah. So I would print a monopose model. I would paint a monopose model, and I would print those as my infantry blocks. Okay. Monopose, one model. I painted it one time, but we're fucking copy pasting that same exact model. Okay. And then I would do my elites, like my cool guys. I'd just paint those guys by hand. and then my characters, I would paint them by hand. So I would like a big mix, because I mean, I like big armies, but big armies are also
I like big butts.
well, I mean that as well. I like big armies, and everyone in the army has a big butt.
The big butt. You like ogres?
That's right. I like the ogres. I like what's her name? The new ogre boss lady.
Yeah,
yeah, I like her.
Lady Junk in the trunk.
Yeah, she's got the junk in the trunk.
Yes. And that trunk is the elephant that she's riding.
That's right. And so but it's very labor intensive to do that, right? Like, I mean, I would love to have an army that has 200 skeletons in it. Like, that would be so cool. But like, I don't want to fucking paint 200 skeletons, man. Like, come on. I want to live.
I want to live. Man, painting 200 skeletons ain't that hard. It's assembling the 200 skeletons that's hard.
Yes, that's right. Yes. The project as a whole is the thing there.
Yeah, but the project is part of the journey of wargaming. Or is it something that we have just convinced ourselves of?
I think it's a little bit A, a little bit of B. It's what do you want? What are you doing in the hobby? What is your purpose in the hobby? Like, are you someone who just wants to game and do you not really care about the artistic part of it? That's totally valid. And if you're someone who doesn't care about the artistic part, it's awesome. So like, what I would probably do is I would probably have the majority of my stuff be printed, but then I could make my everything by hand be like a really fun passion project. Because I can get slop out my slop and then, work on my stuff that I really want to work on.
No, I get what you're saying, but I also feel like you would do once you started printing them out, you just be like, okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm not painting ever again. I also know you for that purpose.
It's possible,
Yeah. I think one of the interesting things with it is that it's, so you buy the inks, right? The inks are like $30 a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
You could put, I think, 4 or 5 of them in the actual machine, print it out that way. But once you do that, it's at what point does it become cheaper than buying Games Workshop paints? Like, do the inks last longer than, like, let's say a bottle of, I don't know, Chaos Black?
That's a really good point. Oh man, if it's cheaper, I'm printing everything, baby.
I think it's going to be cheaper because it's coming out of probably China where they have no labor laws. So you could put it out cheaper. However, printer ink, as we know, is more expensive than blood. So
true.
Yeah. Or more expensive than oil. Gold.
True.
Horseshoe crab venom.
It's horseshoe crab blood.
Yeah, blood.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. That's odd.
I know. And it's like, does Games Workshop just realize at that point that it's cheaper to buy the inks, it's faster to print out the minis, because once the tech exists, it's just going to improve.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't get worse. Like, tech like that doesn't get worse.
No.
Every 3D printer, I have now owned 5 3D printers, 5 3D printers. And I have the latest gen or close to the latest gens of both a plastic and resin printer. And they are so much better than the printers that I've had in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Like the biggest problem with my resin printer right now is that the build plate doesn't come with a magnetic flex plate that I can pull off easily. Like, you have to take the build plate off and like use a scraper to get the minis off.
Okay.
So I modded it with a flexi plate, which is something that should be standard on the device, and I have no idea why Elegoo refuses to put one onto their devices. It makes no sense to me that they wouldn't do that, because it is the easiest mod in the world, and it's not hard to do.
Right.
But yet they have a very, very adamant thing. We don't want to do that.
Huh.
Yeah. They say, well, it ruins this or ruins that. It's like, kind of, maybe. It depends. But
I mean,
yeah,
it seems like something they could sell as an add-on to make more money too. So I don't know.
Well, but that's the thing. It's like, they don't really do that. 3D printers don't do that as much as, other stuff that we're used to does that.
I see. Okay.
Because like my plastic printer, I bought the AMS, which is the multicolored adapter for it. Like, you don't need it to use the machine, but it's something nice that you could add on to it. It costs a couple $100, but I absolutely love using it. It's great. And the newer generation is, you're using less waste when you're doing it. It's it's pretty easy. So like this machine, this Hey Gears is going to get nothing but easier to use. And if the detail that it's putting out right now is not enough to do the smaller figures, guess what? In 5 years, it will be. Yeah, so like Games Workshop and other companies that are putting out physical minis really needs to take notice of this.
Yeah.
Like I know, I already know my friend who's really into Star Wars right now is salivating at the idea of printing out a Boba Fett figure. Like he is salivating on that one. Yeah. Except for the fact that I know he can't probably do the painting on the on the software, so he's going to send it to me to do it for him. Yeah. And I also let me be fair, like the goblin that they put on here with all that paint on there, that was done by a professional 3D digital painter.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be very, very hard to do something like that on the software without training.
Yeah, no, that guy was definitely a pro. So
yeah, so that's going to be part of it too. Is like there's going to be that. But guess what, Steve? Once I paint a figure, I could take that file that I painted, and I could sell that online and like buy a Joe painted figure for your 3D printer.
True. I mean that could change a lot.
It changes the commission game right there.
Yeah, it does.
Because like, but then you roll up to a store and you go, "Oh, I see you have a Steve painted figure." Way to waste your money. I have a Joe painted figure.
A Joe. I've got a Tim.
Oh, yeah. And professional painters could put up their shit for a lot of money because they're nicer. They're nicely done as opposed to like my slop figure.
Yeah, no. I mean,
there's.
It also the what is it, the clout game is going to be crazy because you can be like, oh, I got a Duncan Rhodes.
Ooh, but yeah. Well, Duncan probably can't do digital stuff that well, but
well, you know what I mean. I don't mean like specifically, but you know what I'm saying. Like the clout,
you see what I'm
farming is going to be crazy.
Yeah, but you do see like the philosophical questions that this entire process raises that I was talking about. Like there's a lot to think about in terms of how this is going to affect the future of the hobby that you and I love so much.
Yeah, I know. It's definitely one to think about. It's interesting. I mean, I think I do think at the end of the day, it's going to be a positive. Just some way. I think it'll be good, not rather than bad. But it is going to be very interesting, I will say.
No, you're absolutely right. It's going to be very, very interesting in how this turns out. I'm going to keep my eye on it. As I say, I'm not going to buy this because I do know buying first gen is always going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, mistake. Unless you are that type of person, right?
Yeah, unless you are that type of person, and those are very, very specific types of people.
Yeah.
And it's actually funny because I'm definitely not an early adopter when it comes to a lot of tech. I'm very much afraid of a lot of tech. I want to wait and see how it rolls out before I buy any sort of tech. But with 3D printing, I got in on it relatively early because I did see its applications for wargaming, and I'm very obsessive about my wargaming stuff. You've seen my collections of stuff, and I love 3D printing because it does scratch an itch. Like instead of me blowing $800 on a bunch of ogre models, let's say, I just sat out and printed 2 days worth of 3D printed Bloodsail ogres from Titan Forge because I absolutely love pirate ogre sculpts, and I don't want to buy Games Workshop sculpts, and it costs me $20 to print this stuff out as opposed to the hundreds of dollars that would cost to buy it from Games Workshop.
Right. No, it makes total sense.
Yeah. So that's my feeling on a lot of that stuff too, and like the terrain too. It's like once you start being able to print your own 3D printed terrain, you look at like store-bought terrain and you're just like, this is garbage in comparison to what I can print 3D.
Yeah, 3D printed terrain is dope. I still have some of the GW kits I bought, but like other than that, like everything I have is 3D printed or the pre-painted stuff, like from Gale Force 9. Gale Force 9 is the only one who beats it in terms of price and quality. Yeah, and that's because I really like their walls, their hedges, and a bunch of their stuff.
Yeah, it's like if Gale Force 9 puts it out, don't even bother printing it. Just go buy the Gale Force 9 stuff because it's infinitely better and it's already pre-painted. You don't even have to worry about it.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So yeah, that's basically it with the 3D painted figure. We just gotta wait and see and how those figures are turning out and like the mess level. What's the like? There's a lot of other factors too about like home use. Like, is it like it comes with a lot of air filters? So I'm wondering how bad it smells. Like some people really don't like the resin printer smell. I don't mind it. I don't think it smells as bad. I think the bigger problem with the smell comes from the isopropyl alcohol you use to clean it. I think the problem with resin printing is how sticky and gross it can get. Like there's a lot of mess that comes with it. Even me, I'm relatively careful with cleaning, and I have
experienced for sure.
Yeah, and experience, and I got a lot of workstation and stuff like that. I use gloves. I do all that stuff, but it's still that resin gets everywhere. Yeah, everywhere. So that's a thing. And the size of the printer too. Like how massive is this thing? There's a lot of factors that we have yet to see, and I'll be watching it very interestingly. I bet you in 3 to 5 years I'll have one.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, for me, the funniest thing for me is I am actually less interested in it for the miniature side, but the thing that actually made me go like, well, I kind of want one of those was 100% the card printing side.
You know what though? But you can do that with like a Cricut, can't you?
Not the effects that you can get from this thing. That's the thing. It's not that you're just printing a card, but you're like, they printed a card that had like full foiling effects and text. Like they basically made without to put it in very simple terms, they made an incredibly impressive forgery.
That's nice.
So that's what it is. Like, it is a different level of printing.
I've wanted to get a Cricut for a long time because I like what you can make with it. Yeah, I feel like that's something that I would be really interested in, but I'm kind of like I wouldn't do enough with it right now. I haven't found like the repeated application enough for myself. Mm-hmm. And stuff I could do on the Cricut, I could do in 3D, and I'm usually fine with. Yeah. So. Yeah, but we'll see.
There's actually a few machines that are also set up to print proxy cards, so I might be looking into some of those as well. Just because it seems to be a pretty easy, like that, because I've been looking at Etsy stuff, and like there's like a huge market out there to just like people will buy cheap proxies. Yeah. So I'm just kind of like, all right, well, maybe I'll do that.
I used to do that all the time with just color printers. I mean, they were shitty proxies, but I would just get like commons, just print them out on sticker paper, cut it out and slap them on there, and then just stick them in a card sleeve.
Yeah, I'm looking for something that's gonna print actual like cardstock.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's gonna be harder to.
Yeah. Because obviously, if you're just making proxies for, casual use or whatever, literally just print it out on paper and then take that and cut it out, put it on Magic Basic land cards. Magic Basic land cards are cheaper than the materials they are made from.
Yeah.
Like it's like, a Magic land card is made out of, I don't know, $1 worth of paper, right, or whatever. But like buying a Magic land card costs you 2 cents. That's what I mean. That's what I mean by that.
Mm-hmm. No, I get it. I get it. All right. So moving on from there, I got something else I want to talk about.
All right, let's go.
So yesterday, hold on, let me grab it. Yesterday they dropped the Warhammer Old World Arcane Journal March of Chaos, right?
Yes.
Insane. One of the most insane books I've ever read.
Yeah.
Highly buy it.
That's what I've heard.
So this was the battle, the Arcane Journal that was simultaneous for it's a companion to the new Old World starter set. Mm-hmm. It's very chaos focused. Off the bat, let's just talk real quick that it really changes up the chaos lists. You definitely get an army of infamy that is super interesting. It's a Beastman army. So I wanted to I don't know, because I guarantee you have not read this yet.
You're also burying the lead. There's the biggest change affects every army in the game.
We're not going to talk about that just yet. I wanted to talk first about the Army of Infamy because, you know, you don't want to talk about the big stuff and then you're like, and this other stuff happened.
The Army of Infamy is very cool though.
Yes. So for the Army of Infamy, you can combine Chaos and Beastmen, Chaos Warriors and Beastmen. Their special rules are insane for Unholy Union. Mm-hmm. You get a -1 to flee roll, a -1 on your flee rolls if you're next to each other, but also if where is it at? Okay, yeah. While within 6 inches of a friendly Beastman Bray Herd unit, Warriors of Chaos may reroll rolls to hit of a natural 1, and Warriors of Chaos unit while next to 6 inches of a Warrior Chaos unit, Beastman Bray Herds reroll natural wound rolls on 1s. They can reroll the ones on wound rolls.
I was really so that was one of the things I was super happy about, because there was someone speculating one of the concerns of was well, if this list is done improperly, what you're going to have is people will not play Beastmen and they will not play Chaos anymore. Because if you could make like an army that's just awesome Chaos Warriors using this new list instead of actually using the Chaos list, why would you use the Chaos list? So the fact that they very cleverly made it like, no, like they are not better by themselves. They have to be with each other.
They have to be next to each other too. That's the thing. 6 inches is pretty close.
Yes, they have to be next to each other 100%, which I think is awesome.
And you can ask any woman, 6 inches is huge, right? Right? Am I
right? Close enough.
Close enough.
But that's why I thought that design choice was really, really cool. I like that idea, and also it doesn't give you a de facto like you should just play this army instead, because it's, you know, you're gonna get the advantages of the combo, but you're gonna take the weaknesses too, because Beastman leadership is garbage, and Warriors of Chaos can't ambush, so you are not. You know, it's actually a choice. Like the army seems like it's going to be very strong, which is great, but it's not instantly like eliminating 2 other armies from the game. Like you're not. This list is not going to replace Warriors of Chaos at tournaments. This list is not going to replace Beastmen at tournaments. Which is really important.
And they also modify characters, which I think is important. Which I'm surprised they should have done this to begin with. But it's that if your character has a mark of Chaos, aside from like just Mark of Chaos, if you have a Mark of Corn, you have to take at least 1 unit that has a Mark of Corn.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty cool. You also get a new special character called the Cultists. You get the Cultists and the Cult Magister, which are basically your cheap human troops for Warriors of Chaos, because they're weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 3, strength 3, toughness 3, 1 wound, initiative 3, attack 1. So it's like you have your normal. You know, Chaos Warriors and Marauders are really fucking good.
Yeah,
in terms of their stat line.
Absolutely. No, the Marauders especially are excellent.
Yeah, and they're not that expensive. like I could see why people are taking Marauder armies, because in order to sell those new Marauder sprues, they changed up the stats of Marauders for this edition, and they're really good.
Yep. Yeah. Marauders are great. I mean, that things just like Warriors are really good too. Like
Warriors are unbelievable.
Yeah. It's a great. It's a very good time to be an old world player if you're playing Chaos.
I've been playing some Battle March games, and I've been taking my Warriors of Chaos, and I took a unit of 18 Marauders with flails, and a unit of just 10 Warriors with sword and board. They like the Marauders outperform the Warriors every game I've played them with, just because they are so good with that.
Oh yeah,
you know, their weapon skill 4, like it's unbelievable. Like weapon skill 4, and I think they're toughness 4 or are they strength 4. Well, I don't remember off the top of my head. It's one of those, and it's just like, why are these so good? They should not be. And they also have a new character for the Hordes of Chaos, and that is a Champion of Ruin.
Champion of Ruin.
Ruin. And then you have Chieftains.
My plans, they've been ruined.
Yeah. The Chieftains of Ruin are the Beastmen guys, and the Champions of Ruin are the Warriors of Chaos guys. So they're kind of just the leaders of this Army of Infamy.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there's a new magic item in it. that is a must-have in every army now. That is the Demon-Blooded Steed. And that is basically a model whose troop type is cavalry only. The bear's mount improves its movement, strength, and attacks characteristic by 1, but gains the impetuous roll for 15 points.
Damn, that's really good.
So for 15 points, you get 2 boosted strength attacks, extra movement, and it's ridiculous.
Man, you throw that on a corn guy and you're all set.
Yeah, I mean they're it's definitely for just for these are is that an hold on. Sorry guys. Yeah. I'm trying to see if it's considered an extremely common magic item. It is not.
Okay.
Yeah. It is not though. But God, that's fucking insane to put in your army. Like for 15 points.
That's an awesome item.
I mean, but you think about it, because you could give magic items to unit champions, especially for your chaos knights. So you're giving that to a chaos knight unit champion for 15 points. It's like, yes, do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then, of course, you have the massive change to the game, which is the magic rules.
This is a change.
Okay, so these are not required magic change. These are not required rules. They specifically say in the game, it's like, hey, if you want magic to be a lot more chunky, use these rules.
They're already basically to put this. There are 4 new rules. I believe 2 of them are being 2 of them aren't even being considered as like an like 2 of them are like we like the tournament TOs are like, we're using these 2 for sure. The other 2 we're thinking about is that's how the response has been. They're like, these first 2, I don't know if it's the exact list there you're going to list the order in, but like tournament organizers have already said the first 2 absolutely using, we might use the other 2. So that's how positive the response to these magic rules are.
So the first thing is, so I'm almost positive they wanted to include these with the new rules for the old world rule book. But I think that there was probably a pushback of like, do not change the core rule set. Don't do that.
Yeah.
We're going to put these as a separate thing. And if people want to use it to make their games more in depth, they can, which in all honesty, Steve, I like that. I like that a lot.
That's the best way to do it.
So the first thing is they have a new miscast table. They have disastrous miscast table, which it basically just changes the miscast table, makes it a lot more dangerous. There's a lot more wiggly wonky. It's 2d6. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on with it.
Yeah.
So that's the number one thing. The next thing is they have the channeling, which I believe is probably, or the miscast table and the channeling are probably the 2 things that you're talking about.
Yes.
So the channeling is basically you're creating a dice pool of extra magic dice that you could use while casting and dispelling. It's a little bit, I feel, closer to like what 7th edition did with Magic, or 8th edition did with Magic, I think. Didn't they have a dice pool in 8th?
They've always had a dice pool, but this is like they've changed the way the pool works now, because there was the pool in 6, which was the dispel dice and the magic dice.
Yeah,
and then 8th had it too, but 8th was the point where they like where it's super broke because you just tried to roll as many dice as possible because. But
what I'm saying is like, didn't 8th had more? Like you could add more to it.
Oh yeah. There was tons of stuff to add to the pool. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Where it's like you add to this pool, like if you have like a level 4 wizard, you get 2d3 plus 1 extra channeling dice.
Yeah.
Now, my feeling is that you can't use the channeling pool without using disastrous miscast table.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you're adding that many more dice into it, you have to make it so that there is what's the word I'm looking for?
A risk.
There is punishment.
There has to be a risk factor.
Risk factor, yes. In America, you reward intelligence. In Japan, we
punish ignorance. That's right.
Yeah. So basically, you get this little extra pool. So when you're rolling your dice, you could pull extra dice from there. What's also cool too is that if you mess up a channel, if you mess up a casting or a dispel, you can pull 2 dice from your pool and re-roll it.
Very
so
cool.
that's nice. So it gives you like automatic re-rolls and dispels if you want, if you have the extra dice available for you.
Mm.
I think that's really cool. The next thing is the Mastering Arcane Magic, which are the magic ploys.
So this is the one that they're thinking they're not going to be using.
Yeah, this one I would agree with. I think this is mainly for home games. I think adding it to any sort of tournament would make it way too complicated.
Yeah, it seemed really cool for narrative stuff though.
Oh, absolutely cool for narrative stuff. It's a little 40K-ish for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like anytime I hear ploys, I'm like, because that just means like extra shit throwing into the game.
Right. But they are pretty cool.
I know. I got the card pack and I love it. It's beautiful. Like towering conjugate, they're not like really broken either. So like towering conjuration, a model in your army may use this ploy when they wish to cast a spell or bound spell before declaring the spell's target. The spell's target. If they do so, they may target a unit regardless of line of sight, even if the unit lies beyond the spell's maximum range.
Yeah, the reason that they don't want to use the complaint, or not complaint, but the reason they kind of discredited the idea of using them for tournament play is they're so random. And it's like you could legitimately just get your ass handed to you because the other dude just like rips all the good ploys and you rip the bad ones.
Yeah, because I think it's like so towering conjuration, you get 2 of them in the deck. Unseen Ensailment, you get 4. Duplicitous, duplication, I think you get 5. It's like you get the higher up it goes, the more you get in the deck.
Yeah. Oh, and to explain
except absolute power that goes down.
To explain further what I mean is that at the start of the game, you get 6 of these ploys randomly from your deck. Your opponent also gets 6 ploys randomly from their deck. Yes. And you do not get more ploys. So if they draw their if their 6 contains the 1 of, 2 ofs, and then 3 ofs, like, and your hand has 4 of the 4 ofs, like their hand is gonna wreck yours in just straight up. So like that would be fun for a narrative, like, because you could weave that into the story where like kind of like how when Max von Schreiber actually toed Thanquol.
Yeah.
And Felix and Gotrek were like, what the fuck? How did that happen? Like, how did you do that? And he was just like, I don't know. Like that kind of stuff. That's great for narrative and thematic games. Not so great if you're playing in a tournament and you're like, well, I lost because this dude ripped better cards than I did.
And the last one is Sorceress Ruses. It's a ruse, Steve. It's a ruse. And these are
you fooled me, Jerry.
Yeah, you pay $25. You pay 25 points for them, and you basically roll on a table, and you get like one of these crazy ruses that you could use in the game, like Escapology. So you can, if you die, you get a chance to pop back up. Mm-hmm. Demonic Assailants, Spell Thief. They're just interesting. I think basically what this is that it's almost like 4 changes to the magic system they wanted to employ, because they thought that the magic system as it is right now in the game is relatively, I don't want to say boring, because it's not boring, but it's relatively flat.
Yeah.
Right. Magic does not do a ton of the game. And I think you're kind of like me, where we're okay with it not doing too much in the game.
Yes. It should. I like it a lot. I don't. You never want the game to become about wizards, because then you have 8th edition, which is the fucking worst. Where it's just like every game is like, well, my big unit got purple sun, so I lost.
Exactly. You don't want it to be like 8th edition,
and you don't want it to be worthless, because you still want the magic to work. So I think the issue currently, and this seems to be the general consensus, which I'm happy that they agree with what I was thinking, is because of the way magic works now, it's okay, but they didn't adjust the point. So they nerfed magic, and the nerfs to magic have been universally kind of praised, because magic was too strong in 1.0. It's sufficiently nerfed to 1.5. But what they didn't do is they didn't reduce the points for the magic users enough. So now you just have people not taking the magic users, because it's like, I'm okay with the spell not working, but I'm not okay with the spell not working from a 200 point model.
Yes, and that sounds about right, because I would love it to be a little bit more useful. Like it doesn't have to be so useful, but it just has to be practically useful.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
If it doesn't go off, I shouldn't be like, oh, I just wasted 300 points.
Yes, that's it. So like if they're gonna keep the magic the way it is now, reduce the points. But then again, we haven't seen a lot of play with these rules yet. So these rules might be the thing that fixes it, right?
Well, I think this is interesting to. So
the channeling might be exactly what does it.
It could very well be. So I've been playing a lot of Battle March. Fantastic. You got to come over and play some Battle March. It's great.
I'm down.
adding in the Battle March rules for like weather and other shit that they have for Battle March has been really cool. Adds a lot to the game.
I thought those are awesome. Yeah.
Once you start getting used to the actual rule play and you get the rhythm of it, because you're playing with such small units, you learn your units rules really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get that down and you're playing a couple games with that, you're like, okay, I get it. Awesome. Then add on top of that all of that stuff, and then add in these magic rules, and you got yourself a stew.
You got yourself a stew going. You're right.
You got yourself a stew going. Yeah. And highly recommend it. I think that the game right now is the best it's ever been for beginners. Because 750 points, not a ton, but you do get some cool stuff in there.
Yep. Yeah. You get enough to really give it you get some sauce.
You definitely get sauce. You get a lot of garlic in there. You get a little bit of basil. It's perfect. Yep. And it's not one of those crappy bolognese which just tastes like sloppy Joe mix, right? I'm talking like a really good Italian stew.
I don't want no sloppy Joe mix.
I don't need a sloppy Joe mix. I like when I see a bolognese that's got like chunks of carrot and peas in there, I'm like, get this shit out of here. I don't need this.
Get this shit out of my face.
the Italian in me just vomits in my mouth when I see that. No, this is like a perfect like pureed tomato-y paste, like a good sauce.
Nice.
Yeah. Definitely highly recommend it. And if anybody, like if you grew up looking at Warhammer Fantasy and were like, this is awesome, but I could never do it, it's too much, don't think about that anymore. Like play Battle March.
Yeah.
It is so fast and so fun to play. I got through, I think my first game took me about an hour and 15 minutes to play.
Nice.
That was my first game of Battle March.
Nice.
And I didn't even know like my units that well. We played Chaos Warriors versus Dwarf Slayers. And the Slayers actually did pretty well, but I could definitely see the Slayers are definitely need to be fixed. I have many thoughts on how to fix the Slayers, especially in their own individual army. You need to, if you're playing like a Slayer list army, those points need to be reduced ridiculously.
I think so. What my strategy was, I was going to make just a bunch of like the smallest size units of Slayers possible. So my idea for my list was I was going to do the King, the Slayer King, and he was going to be in a fat fucking huge unit of Hammerers.
Yeah,
because he rolls out with his hammers. Like that's like in the lore, like that, and like the hammers are like, we're not gonna let you kill you, like, because he's the Slayer King, so like he's trying to die, but the hammers are like, no, we're going to protect you. You're coming with us. So I'm gonna put him in the huge fat block of hammers, and then I wanted just to spam a bunch of like shitty tiny units of Slayers. Was my idea.
Yeah, very smart. I didn't use hammers, but just because it's like the point costs alone, you could maybe. I think a total in that army. Well, I also had the Goblin Hewer out there too.
Okay.
But yeah, with the Goblin Hewer, I was only able to field 20 Slayers total in a 750 point game, I think.
Okay.
So you did not get a lot.
No.
But anyway, that's besides the point. But it was just a ton of fun to play. That's the key thing, is like regardless. And I think that was like the third point that I wanted to bring up for this cast was, I think that there needs to be a shift in how to play Warhammer games, in a how to play Warhammer games way of thinking. Now, I know that online right now there's kind of a push to how can I give my opponent the best game possible while still having fun myself. So like right now, I know a lot of people are shifting and saying like, it's great to win a game, but no one's going to ever want to play me if I keep winning. Right.
Right. If my list is bullshit. Right.
If my list is bullshit. So that addresses the list portion. Right. But it's how can losing still be fun to me?
Right. Right.
And I think with Games Workshop, they make it kind of easy because the grimdark worlds of 40K and fantasy and Age of Sigmar kind of lend themselves well to already in lore reasons for losing games. Like with a Dwarf Slayer army, you should lose with a Dwarf Slayer army. The whole point of Dwarf Slayer armies is to lose.
Right. Your goal is the Dwarf Slayer armies to kill, be like, I like those guys. I'm killing those guys. That's what I want to do. I don't care about winning this game. I want to kill those guys.
Well, it's like I want an epic death.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to be killed by these scrubs. I want to,
exactly. So it's navigating your Slayers around their chaff units to get the Slayers fighting the Chosen of Chaos.
Yes, but I think
I don't want to die to the Marauders. I want to fight the Chosen.
But the Slayers are kind of like that prototype of that, or like not the prototype, but like the base idea of that. Mm-hmm. So, for example, dwarfs in general should lose games, not because of their, like they want to die, but because dwarfs are very rigid in their way of thinking and they are a dying race. Mm-hmm. They should be losing. They always lose in lore. Like that's
the only places they don't lose is anytime someone is stupid enough to siege one of their holds.
Yes,
that's like the only time that they win, because that's when they actually have the advantage.
And not necessarily because the goblins and Skaven take them from underneath all the time.
Well, that's a different thing. Yes, but sieging their hold from a expected direction. Yeah,
high elves are haughty, and they are what's the word I'm looking for? Just assholes.
Arrogant.
Yeah, arrogant. They're arrogant. They should lose games because they're arrogance. They think that they're better than everyone else, and they're like, "Oh no!"
Right. And Empire should lose because they're not they're lackadaisical. Their vigilance is lacking.
Yeah, their vigilance is lacking. They're like a bunch of raccoons in a trench coat.
Yes, it's like bureaucracy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They're led by a bunch of princes who are not like necessarily war leaders.
Yeah, a bunch of chooches.
Like if you remember in the old lore, like pre-6th edition Empire, or maybe pre-5th edition Empire, Karl Franz was a foppish prince.
He was. He didn't become a good leader until like way later.
And the orcs should lose just because they're not there to win or lose. They're there to scrap.
Yeah, they're there to fight.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if they win or lose. They always win because they fought.
They will always win because they fought. Yeah,
right.
And that's the way you kind of gotta.
Is never beaten in battle. We can always come back for another go.
And that should be like kind of in the rule set. Like there should not be. Like I almost think that there should not be victory conditions in games anymore. Like when you're playing a game, there shouldn't be a victory condition because you should play 6 turns or until you concede.
Yeah.
Some victory conditions are fine, like holding an objective or something like that. Mm-hmm. But I think that they need to get rid of the win all lose all scenario. The pitch battle. Pitch battle should be taken out of the rule book from now on. I think that would make the game a lot that would have to change the thinking of the players.
I'm a big fan of the I think I told you like the campaignment, but I'm a big fan of the linked narrative games. So you have so for example, like you and I started game, like we do like not necessarily a full campaign, although a full campaign is wonderful, and I think that's, to me, that's the pinnacle of miniatures gaming, is a full map-based campaign is my like pinnacle of miniatures wargaming. But if I'm going to go one step down from that, you and I, like you grab your dwarves and I grab my Tomb Kings, and we have it set up. Your dwarves are, let's just do the basic. Your dwarves are raiding my treasure halls, my vaults. Your dwarves are coming to get the gold, right?
Coming to get the gold.
So the first game that we play is attacker defender. You're the attacker, I'm the defender. And then the end result of that game, we can determine someone who wins. Obviously, one of us will win or lose that game. But what that does, rather than us giving a shit about who won that game, it's about what's the next scenario going to be. Because let's say you won as the dwarves. Okay, well now I've been pushed back. So now you're advancing. So then then the next scenario is like maybe you're inside. We do a battle march game where you're inside one of my tombs. So it's it's a smaller skirmish because you got inside the tombs and you're ready. You're trying to raid. So we do a battle march game and we do it inside like claustrophobic, like maze-like halls or something. And then because you won the first game, so your guys advance. Now let's say I won the first game, so I'm pushing you back. So now the next game instead is you're doing a fighting retreat. So then your objective on the next game is to get away while I'm trying to chase you down. And then we link the games like that, and each game, the result of the game, rather than just being a strict like, okay, you won by like 1,000 points, I lost by 1,000 points, cool, GG's, shake hands, let's not worry about it. It's about where's the story going to go because of the wins and losses on the battlefield. Like, what's going to happen to the story next? Like, does it end up where the dwarves have a full route and the Tomb Kings ride out and fucking slay the dwarves, and I'm in your book of grudges forever, but
that's going in the book.
It's going in the book. Or do you smash the undead and get in, and do you steal the crown? And then at the end of our little however many games we decided we're going to play over how long, at the end we now have the basis for the next series of games or a campaign. Like you stole the crown of Petra because you won, you like kicked my ass and you got in there, you took it, you have the crown of Petra now. So then we could start our next game, our next series. Even if I don't play my Tomb Kings again, you could use your dwarves, say I'm using Chaos, and your dwarf lord has the crown of Petra because you won it in the battles against the Tomb Kings. So then it becomes part of the narrative, and it's part of the greater story now. It's basically turning Warhammer into D&D, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's all fantastic. I for example, in the new book, the March of Chaos book, they actually give you a scenario to use specifically for 3,000 point games, which I think is fantastic. That's not a pitched battle. Like a 3,000 point game though is massive.
Oh, that's huge, absolutely huge.
I
would still once again shill Hobgoblin for games that big.
What's great about this one is though it's specifically for Chaos versus Cathay. So this one is kind of like what happens when you take your starter set army and you expand it out for players. However, I did want to say that because you deploy as a main force and a rescue force. For the defenders, which is Cathay, the rescue force that they tell you to use is Miao Yang, which is the dragon, and 3 Sky Lanterns. So it's like, hey, so if you've already dropped $600 on Sky Lanterns and the dragon, now you can use them in this game.
That's awesome.
Ridiculous. All right. So I want to talk about some non Games Workshop stuff really quick.
Yeah.
Warp Miniatures. I know you're a big fan of them.
Yes.
Did you see their Ancient Egypt set?
I didn't.
Yeah, their digital workshop. They got a bunch of very, very classic ancient Egyptian guys. They have a sand demon. They got a sphinx. They got a Ammit, the devourer of souls, some mummies. Really cool.
I'm looking at them now. They're sick as hell.
That Anubis is pretty sick.
They're so cool.
However, the Anubis does kind of look like something you'd buy at the museum gift shop. I just want to point that out.
Hell yeah. I love the museum gift shop. The hippo body crockhead dude kicks ass.
Ammit, he will devalue your soul if your soul is not lighter than a feather.
That's true.
Yeah. That's it. I know that from the Book of the Dead.
That's dope, man. That's really cool.
Once again, if you live in the Chicagoland area or you come to the Chicagoland area, I highly recommend going to this Institute for Oriental Studies, which I think is a different name now. I think it's like the Institute for the Study of Eastern Cultures or something like that.
Exotic treats from the Orient.
Exotic treats from the Orient. But they do have a fantastic collection of Egyptian, Babylonian, Greek artifacts, that were, I wouldn't say looted, but they were studied through Egyptologists in the early part of the 20th century, very much Rick O'Connell mummy style, and brought over to Illinois and Chicago.
And that guy who I always thought was Billy Zane, but is totally not Billy Zane.
Oh, Arnold Vosloo?
Yeah.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah,
I would go to this place.
I was like, damn, that's not Billy Zane. All right.
Also, this University of Chicago is as close as you're going to get to like a European style like college in America. Mm-hmm. Like just it's so cool looking. It's what I should say like a Ivy League school in Chicagoland. Mm-hmm. Something else. The War Games Atlantic Plastic is putting out villagers for elves and dwarves.
They look great.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw those.
I did see those. They're fantastic.
Just a really fun. I think you get like 20 or 30 guys in the box. 24 in the box.
Yeah, 24 in the box for it's very inexpensive. It was like $25 or something.
Yeah, not the best looking figures in the world, but they're better than most.
And for what you're gonna want them for, I think they're fantastic.
Yeah, and that's the key thing. It's like what you're gonna want them for, which is just for your D&D games. I do like that you get a guy with a eating a big ham hock.
Yes,
he's eating a big old ham leg.
It's fantastic.
Not a turkey leg. He's eating like a leg of ham.
Yeah, it's the ham hock. He's got it.
So it's definitely something that if you're playing D&D and you want some villager figures that are elves and dwarves, it's the way to go. I think it's a great buy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're fantastic for, and you get that plus the first one, and you basically have NPCs for your D&D game forever.
Yes, and yeah, forever. Also, I wanted to point out that D23 just happened, and I wasn't expecting any gaming news, but they talked about Lorcana, and I thought this was fantastic. This was very interesting. 2.8 billion cards sold.
Yeah.
That's a lot of cards.
It's a lot of cards. Lorcana is crazy. There was an incident at there was a limited release in the UK, and apparently the line got so rowdy, so full of fisticuffs, they canceled the entire event and told everyone to leave.
So you're sure this wasn't for Yu-Gi-Oh?
No, it was in the UK. In America, the American version was also bad, but
in America,
less fighting, more. There were lines going down the highway to Disney World for people trying to get this shit. Like like the line is like unbelievable, and of course, it's a limited product, so like there's absolutely people who probably stood in line for upwards of 12 to 15 hours who got nothing when they got there.
You get nothing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Did you see Parabellum's releasing a bunch of like box sets for Conquest?
Yes.
That are like little tiny boxes of stuff that are really cool looking.
I did see this. Yes, I love Parabellum. That's Conquest. The last argument of kings.
Yes, Conquest First Blood. They drew first blood.
Yeah, so that's their smaller skirmish sized game.
Yeah, so it's. I'm sure these boxes are very, very expensive.
Yes, that's the thing. It's easy to forget that like the Conquest models are huge.
Yeah, they're pretty big in comparison.
Like they are the biggest scale guys like on the market as far as I know.
They're like a weird scale. They're like 38-40, something like that.
Yeah, they're very big. I think they're like 40. I think they're 40 millimeter.
Yeah, it's like I think it was like 38 or 40, some weird scale like that. Yeah, it wasn't 32. They're bigger than 32s.
Yeah, they're way bigger than 32s. Like if you put one of their humans next, their humans are bigger than Chaos Warriors by like a lot.
Yeah. I do like their Japanese box though, because you get a suit of ghost armor, you get some Oni demons, and then
ghost armor kicks ass.
And you get 2 Tengu. Yeah. So cool. I mean, what are they called? The
Yoroni. No, the Yoroni.
Yoroni. Oh yeah, I see Yoroni. Yoroni. My Yoroni.
My Yoroni.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely take a look at them. If it's once again, I think that Conquest's biggest issue, one of my biggest issues with Conquest is that the painting of the figures is so good.
Actually, they're $70. They're $70 for the Warband.
It's not terrible, but I mean, most of these only come with like 5 figures in them, Steve.
True, but the figures are huge.
Yes, and the painting, the painting that's done on them is a lot of the heavy lifting.
Oh, their paint jobs are fucking incredibly good.
Oh, you know what? That's something else I didn't bring up about that 3D printer. Going back to all the way what we started with is that I noticed there's a lot of AI in a lot of what they're putting out.
Oh yeah.
I saw a lot of AI used in the production of what they're showing.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean that's all over 3D printing too, because that's the whole thing where it could make the 3D model out of the 2D image. Like that, they're everywhere, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I've played with it. It's not great. That's very very early first generation. Doesn't work that well. I've actually talked to people who are professional mini sculptors or professional mini painters about this, and because they were like saying like, I really like this figure and I want to paint it or this image, but I is there like an STL of it anywhere? And I'm like, no, not that I know of. And they're like, what about using that AI stuff? And I'm like, do you really want to do that? And he's like, Well, I mean, just so I'd like to play with it. And I'm like, well, you could use this program and it could do it for you. It's not great. You lose a lot of textures on it. And, it takes a lot of guessing at anything it can't see.
Right.
So what that's really good for is that if you have like a 3D image, like several pictures of a figure around all angles, it'll work very well.
Got it. So it'll put it together from multiple angles really well.
Yes, it'll do fairly well from that. I've seen that done.
Okay.
It's not perfect, but it will do that. Because the problem with AI still is it makes weird leaps when it's like, no, just do exactly what I told you to do. And it's like, no. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I'm not going to automatically shut on AI for a lot of stuff because it has its uses, but I can definitely tell you it's not something you want to. Like, there's way better stuff that's done by artists. Just do that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. It's like you're going to get shit from using AI. Just remember that. It's like you're going to get shit from it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I just think that's like, I knew it's the tech side. So like everyone on the tech side is just like, they want to jam AI into goddamn everything.
Yeah, exactly. So like I noticed a lot in that 3D printer one too, that there's a lot of AI being used in the images it's showing. And like, I could tell right away, I'm like, that's not how that looks. That's AI.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't give me that crap.
Yeah, that's a huge problem too. Is like people are just like using AI enhanced quote unquote images, which is basically just lying to you about what they're selling.
Yeah, well, and that's it. I think that the images are real. They're just AI enhanced.
Right. So
because you can tell if you look at something, you could just tell from the colors that it's AI.
Yeah, you're like that's not how that works.
I am really impressed with my daughter is really good at like picking out AI stuff. Like even stuff where I'm like, I can't tell if that's AI. She goes, yeah, that's just AI.
Nice.
So that's pretty good.
Awesome.
So that's what I got for today. Do you got anything that we haven't talked about?
No, man, I'm good. I think you covered basically everything. There's no other than the Star Trek Magic set I'm very excited about.
Yeah, I know you love your Star Trek Magic.
I'm looking forward to it, man.
You want your Moopsie?
I want my Moopsie. No, I want my Jean-Luc Picard, please.
Picard. Oh, yes. Well, yeah, it's magic. I was actually I went to the Renaissance Fair yesterday, and they have like a fairly big D&D store there with like a lot of, it's mostly dice, right? And I was like, oh, this is an interesting dice, and he's like, oh, it's a magic counter, and I'm like, oh god damn, I'm mad at myself for not realizing it was a magic counter.
That's funny.
Yeah. All right, so go to the Game Classy Facebook page is the best way to get the link to the Game Classy Discord, where we post a lot of stuff. Yeah, a lot of interesting information, things like that. We chat. You could also best way to help out the podcast is like, comment, subscribe on the iTunes, and like, comment, subscribe on the YouTubes, where we put stuff up occasionally. If you want to see more of our stuff, you can't, because we pretty much got rid of all social media because it's garbage. Aside from the Facebook page,
our Discord, you can go to our Discord.
You go to our Discord, but the Facebook page is garbage. It's basically, we just use it to put up stuff so that you get a link to see when the new cast is coming out.
Yes.
That's all it's good for at this point.
Yes,
because Facebook filled with AI garbage.
Oh, it is AI slop left and right.
It is so much AI slop.
Yes, it is.
All right. So, Steve, until next time.
You, Zoldak, and Berga are heading down back towards the chapel to speak to your cleric leader. And you notice there are two paths ahead of you, the alleyway or the cobblestone street. You see there are several figures on the street and at least one or two in the alley. Which do you head towards? Zoldak looks. I'll let you decide. So there we are. Well, I'll put the poll up in the Discord, and you guys can pick.
All right. Later.
Game Classy.